Stephen A., Tom Brady to the Bucs. Your thoughts?
Well, I got no problems with it whatsoever. You've got Evans there. You've gotten rid of your defensive player of the year in the process because we all know that's what Jameis Winston was. When you're a quarterback and you throw 30 interceptions and 6 pick sixes, you're a defensive player of the year candidate as far as I'm concerned, even though you're playing a quarterback position. But you've got a receiver. You've got guys like O.J. Howard, guys like that in the tight end spot. You see the personnel they had. It would have been nice if Deshaun Jackson was still there, but he left a year ago to come back to Philadelphia. But in the end, when you look at their stud receivers, you look at the brilliant offensive mind of a Bruce Arians, and you look at the fact that they were starving for some level of productivity from the quarterback position, not to mention the fact that you're in Florida, there's no state income tax, so your money will go even further, and the weather is nice. I think it's a winnable situation for Tom Brady, plus he'll be going up against Drew Brees twice a year. That will be daunting, but going up against, if it's Teddy Bridgewater in Carolina, he should have an edge there. If it's Matt Ryan in Atlanta, as formidable as they can be offensively, they've been a disappointment the last couple of years or so. So I think that it's a good situation for him with Bruce Arians leading the way, and I don't think anybody can deny that, and props to him for making that decision.
He's the first quarterback to leave a team after 20 seasons with one organization. How much of this decision is going to impact his long-term legacy?
I don't think it's going to impact his long-term legacy at all. When you, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, and we're talking about the epitaph involving Tom Brady, we're going to remember 6 Super Bowl championships and 9 Super Bowl appearances. That's 17 divisional crowns in 18 years. That's 9 AFC titles. That's 6 Super Bowl championships. There's nothing that can happen that can taint that, because worst case scenario, you can never erase those things. So from this point forward, he could either go upward or fade into the twilight. Either way you slice it, he's going to get credit that's due because he's a 6-time champion and one of, if not the greatest quarterback that ever played the game of football. There's nothing that's going to taint that.
What do you think of the talent that now surrounds him in Tampa?
Well, again, like I said, it's certainly better than what he was working with in New England last year, and I think that's the untold story. We haven't really focused on that nearly enough. The fact that you got Mike Evans alone speaks volumes for what Tom Brady is going to be able to do. And who knows what other weapons Bruce Arians plans on having available at his disposal. You've got at least one, probably 2 stud receivers to catch the football for you. You got an offensive mind in Bruce Arians that nobody would question. And then we also simply cannot forget the fact and the reality that Tom Brady wasn't working with much last year. Antonio Brown, we know what a head case that was. Josh Gordon, we wish him nothing but the best. But that was a reclamation project going bad. Then you've got a situation involving guys like N'Keal Harry and Lakasi that they have talent and what have you, but relatively young rookies, breath smelling like Similac, wet behind the ears. We don't even know if they were running the right routes or not. They have a lot to learn, and I'm not trying to knock them in any way. I'm sure they'll have a bright future. But to ask the 42-year-old, immobile Tom Brady to go to work every day with those weapons, those limited weapons available to him, for folks to be talking about cliffs and how he's lost it and what have you, I think it's foolhardy. I think it's utterly ridiculous. We'll see what Tom Brady has left when he's out on a football field throwing catches to people who know how to run routes, read defenses, and catch passes. Until then, the jury is still out. I've never seen a quarterback in the history of the National Football League that was successful throwing the damn football to himself. Made no sense whatsoever. I think he's gotten a bad rap. I think he knows it, and he's tired of depending on Bill Belichick to get him weapons. He'd rather depend on somebody else at this stage and point in his career, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. I feel bad for Mr. Kraft, who I think is obviously a phenomenal owner. But in the case of Bill Belichick, who's a phenomenal coach, we can't deny that. I think it's going to be real interesting to see where things go from here.
So let's go back and sort of discuss something that you say is an under-discussed storyline in sort of the breakup between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Who do you think has more to prove next season? Is it Tom with his new team, or is it Belichick with the old team but without Tom Brady?
One has to say it's Tom Brady, just from a logical perspective in this regard. A coach has a multitude of responsibilities. You're essentially an overseer. You oversee the offense. You oversee defense. You oversee special teams. You have a myriad of individuals working under your stewardship. You're the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. Answers to you. So does everybody that works under them if you so choose. So the multitude of responsibilities that come with the job of being a head coach in the National Football League, for Bill Belichick to go to 9 Super Bowls and win 6 Super Bowl championships is a testament to his greatness that simply cannot be denied. So one could easily argue it's Tom Brady. The only argument that you can make on Tom Brady's behalf is that despite the multitude of responsibilities that come with being a head coach, Bill Belichick as a head coach never won a championship until he had you. Now, it wasn't that long period of time because he coached in Cleveland prior to that, and then when he was in New England, he had Drew Bledsoe before he ultimately had Tom Brady. But it's undeniable that because of the multitude of responsibilities that he has available to him, he has less to prove because he's been doing it. Tom Brady at age 42, with Father Time catching up to us all, certainly is on a mission to prove that he's not finished yet, so all eyes will be on him.
That is Stephen A. Smith on the breaking news tonight that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the expected landing spot for Tom Brady.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.